Hey everybody, what is going on? So in this section, what we're going to do is we are going to show you how you can identify the authority figures at the companies you want to reach out to. Now, to start things off, at this point, you should have a number of companies that you would like to reach out to. Again, these are going to be people that are going to fit your ideal customer profile. And so within those companies, now the next step, once you understand who you want to reach out to, is who within the company specifically do you want to send some type of outreach to see if it makes sense to work together. Now, the next step, the key is to find the decision makers at these companies. And I'm saying decision makers because you do not want to go for lower level people who don't have decision making power. You want to go after the people that can actually make decisions and make things happen at their company. And you also want to make sure that these people have the authority to sign the deal and actually buy your product or services. Now, to give you some key points when it comes to authority figures, make sure you're targeting people who have the authority to make a purchasing decision. Next, you want to make sure that you don't target any low-level employees that cannot make a buying decisions. And a lot of times, people who are starting out in sales, they try to talk to these low-level guys, hoping that one day that they can convince their boss to buy your product or service. But the thing is that just does not work. You want to go directly to the source. Do not rely on another person to sell your product or service. Only you should be doing that, and you should be in the meeting with whoever makes the decision at the other company. Now, here is how it's going to work when it comes to looking at the organization and identifying who you should be talking to. So from the top to the bottom, this is pretty much how most organizations work around the world. The top is going to be the founders, the chief executive, and the C-suite from CEO, CMO, COO, and etc. After the C-suite, typically it's going to be the vice presidents. So it could be something like VP of marketing, engineering, VP finance, things like that. After vice presidents, typically you're going to have the director. So director of marketing, director of engineering, and so on. And at some companies, they're going to have a title called head of something. So it would be something like head of marketing, head of finance, head of technology, right? So it's different from a VP where a vice president is more of a leadership role. Now, a director is, or maybe someone who is the head of X, is someone who is managing that specific part of the business and actually is doing the work and managing the team that does the actual work. Now, after directors is managers. Managers are obviously marketing managers, sales managers, recruiting managers, things like that. And after managers, the people that the managers manage are individual contributors. So these are the individual people that are actually doing the bulk of the grunt work, which is growth marketers, recruiters, salespeople, engineers, things like that. So essentially, this is the organizational map top to bottom. So the question for a lot of people is, who exactly should you target if there's a lot of people at companies, especially if you're going after, let's say, Fortune 500 companies, right? So I drew these lines over here, and essentially what you want to do is anybody who is under this red line, so managers and individual contributors, you do not want to spend any time on these guys. You do not want to send them any emails. You don't want to add them on LinkedIn because it's just a waste of time. What you want to do is you want to reach out to everybody above the red line. So that would be directors, vice presidents, and the C-suite, because these are people who typically have actually decision-making power at a company. So when you're sending cold outreach, you only want to make sure that you reach out to everybody on the top of this red line. And so that's pretty much how you're going to figure out who exactly you should reach out to. So if you're selling, let's say, a marketing software, obviously you want to reach out to the director of marketing, VP of marketing, CMO, possibly the CEO or the founder, right? Or maybe if you're going for a smaller business trying to get in the door there, then if there are no directors and no VPs, but it's just founders and the head of marketing, then those are the people that you're going to reach out to. So essentially this map over here is going to show you everything you need to know when it comes to what titles people usually have. And this typically works for most businesses around the world. So now that you understand that you should only be reaching out to these decision makers at the company. So now that you understand that you should reach out to these decision makers at these companies, we're going to show you the tactics and actually how to find them using the internet and different online sources. So with that said, that's everything when we have to cover when it comes to the strategy portion of identifying these decision makers. And next, we're going to show you how you can actually execute on these strategies.